Manchester United latest transfer news. Now, most of the news has been about ligt these last few days, and I haven't done a video for a few days talking about this, and there is a very good reason for this. I haven't been believing all the hype and that around Manchester United potentially signing ligt. Not until the deal is finalised, I will not believe it at all. I've heard these sort of rumours so many times before, but they seem to be getting stronger that Manchester United or Barcelona will be the destination for ligt this coming season. Now, that are the rumours. Before, we were hearing that Bayern Munich and Juventus were the second and third choice in the race for ligt, but it seems that Manchester United are in the mix for him and maybe have had bids rejected for the Ajax centre half. Now, we've obviously seen this in the past where people have been saying that it's coming to Manchester United. Sergio Ramos being one of the big names that in the past has been taught of coming to Manchester United and wants to come to Manchester United, and then a few weeks later maybe signs a new deal or in other players' cases go elsewhere. So I'm still very, very sceptical of this, but from what we're seeing, the reports coming from a lot of journalists and people that seem to think that they're in the know, is that Manchester United's package is a lot more, and that it's blowing Barcelona's out of the water. Now, that has probably got a lot to do with Raiola, and the agent fee is probably huge. I mean, I don't know the exact figures for this transfer of what it's going to be, but for Manchester United, we are absolutely desperate for a centre-half. Barcelona could probably do them as well, because PK is on the decline. He's in his 30s now. They've got Longley at the back as well, who's only 20 years of age, but Manchester United would definitely need him more than them. They have just won the league, Barcelona, so they could probably get by again. I mean, winning the league is not so bad, is it? I mean, come on. I would be happy if Manchester United even finished challenge for the title this past season, so come on. And they got to a Spanish Cup final, so it wasn't all doom and gloom for them. But Manchester United really need a transfer of this ilk, and he's probably going to be paid, I would presume, well over 200 and probably 250 grand a week, probably in salary, if Manchester United are to get this deal over the line. I still think it's under, I would say about 4 out of 10. I'm still not sure it's going to happen. If it does, I'll be over the moon. This will be one of Manchester United, for me, biggest signings in recent history. It really will. Considering where Manchester United are at the moment, he would have to take away Champions League football, and not only that, we are so far behind the other teams. Maybe he sees it as though that he can play, if he does come to Manchester United, that he will play week in, week out in a real tough league, the Premier League, and if he performs very well, he could maybe get a dream move in the future. But if Manchester United sign him on a big salary, it might be hard to get out of Manchester United. Manchester United is a massive club, but that would be my only fear, that maybe in a few years you may see it as a stepping stone if Manchester United do not move in the right direction. Now, if we do sign him, we've got to move in that right direction and get back challenging up the top. We can't afford to be falling adrift still, even if we sign some sort of top players like this, because they will just, in 1 or 2 years, they will just fuck off. It is that simple. We have to start challenging to keep holding them, but the Manchester United is a massive club. We should still be able to attract top players to come to Manchester United. Top players should still want to play for this great club. It is one of, along with, certainly with Real Madrid, one of the biggest clubs in world football. So, but anyway, we'll just have to wait and see if there is any more news regarding that. But it's taken so many twists and turns. Some people said it was a done deal to Manchester United. Then said Sky Sports were saying it was Manchester United weren't interested, and I just don't know what to believe. So we will just have to wait and see on that. But the second transfer that I want to talk about is the Daniel James one. There is reports today that the transfer could be done and dusted this week. Sadly, his father did pass away this past week, and I was a bit annoyed when I heard this transfer at first, because I thought, Daniel James, is this really the sort of transfer that Manchester United want to sign? But a young 21-year-old wide player, very, very quick, doesn't score a lot of goals, but I think got 10 assists last season, so can create as well. Would be playing in a better team than Swansea, so maybe would get better. I mean, we would have to wait and see. It's difficult to tell when a player's playing in the Championship. Sometimes players like Ryan Sessegnon were absolutely smashing it in the Championship. Obviously, he's a lot younger, and then come up to the Premier League with Fulham and struggle to do a great deal last season in the Premier League. Was playing for Fulham though, and he's still a very, very young talent. But other players sometimes are not doing quite as well in the Championship and then come up to the Premier League and they perform better than they did in the Championship. Just the nature of sometimes players playing with better players and so forth and whatnot. So we will have to wait and see, but I do think this transfer will go through, and if we get other top signings, I don't mind this as an additional signing. I really don't. He's probably not going to play 40, 50 games next season. You wouldn't expect that, but a great player probably to have around in the squad for League Cup games, for Europa League games when we've got a lot of games, because that Europa League is a long slog to the final, and Manchester United would be expected to go all the way in that competition. So there will be a lot of games to play at certain times coming thick and fast for Manchester United to play. So I don't mind if we sign him, as long as we sign these other ones like ligt and some quality players. The only other really real one I want to talk about is Dembele. He's in France at the moment, did play for Celtic last season. I think he scored 23 goals in this season just gone. So I think he's 22 years of age, could be the replacement to Romelu Lukaku. Now, I'm not sure on this one. I mean, he's young. I haven't watched a lot of him play. I've got to be honest on that one. So I'm not too sure. But it does look like Lukaku's on his way out, and most people want to see Lukaku gone. I wouldn't be opposed to keeping Lukaku for one more season. I mean, he has proven that he can score goals in the Premier League, Lukaku, over the years. Yes, he had a bad season, but if he could get himself fully fit for the new season, get his fitness level top notch, then he could have a much better season next year. And I think there are other areas of this squad that drastically need work on for Manchester United. We do still need someone in that forward line, but I think that if Mason Greenwood can step up to the plate, Romelu Lukaku can get himself a lot fitter this season, and Rashford can get better, then I would hope that Manchester United have got enough in that striking area. If we can get more goals from the wider areas, maybe bring in one more wide player. But if we do bring in another striker, then I'm not against it. If Lukaku does decide to leave Manchester United, then fine. But if he stays one more season, I'm not against that either. But I still think that we really do need to bring in another right back, and obviously that centre back position is needed as well. And whether we bring in another wide player in the wide areas along with Daniel James, and then if we're bringing in a midfield player, it's going to come costly if we sign Dembele as well. But he is a cheaper option, so he probably would be a decent option if Manchester United are going to go for a striker, because we can't be looking to spend sort of 70, 80 million on a striker if we're looking to bring in players of de Ligt's ilk and Wan-Bissaka, because them sort of players would cost a lot of money. Between the two of them, they would cost over 100 million. So, and we're only going to spend so much this summer. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the transfers at the moment. There's not too many other options that we're talking about at this moment in time. Just the same regurgitated players at this moment in time. We probably will hear a lot more in the next couple of weeks when the Nation League, the Champions League final and Europa League finals are out the way. Like the video, let me know your thoughts. Do you think that de Ligt will come to Manchester United, or is he going to Barcelona? The Daniel James one does look like it's going to happen. And would you like to see Dembele come to Manchester United? Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you all again soon. See ya.